Hello my beautiful friends and welcome to Tailor Made Beauty by Kris. Today we are on a mission. You may have noticed that recently Natasha Denona released a new palette, her bronze palette. And if you've been watching me for any time, you know these are my colors. They're warm, there's coppers and rusts and metallics and shimmers, and honestly, I was really drawn to it. And if you've watched my last 3 videos, you know that I haven't adhered to my no-buy this year, and I'm blaming it largely on COVID. So I'm trying to be strong because I know I have these colors. Here is my eyeshadow collection. There are somewhere between 60 and 70 palettes in this basket. So I know that somewhere here I have these colors. And so my mission today is to find them, and I hope you would like to join me for that. If not, pick a different video of mine and watch it. So when I look at the swatches, and I'll pop them on screen, it is those coppers, the rusts. So let's start with the Natasha Denona palettes I already own. And I don't own any of her really big palettes. It was really hard for me to bite the bullet on Pat McGrath, and if you watched my videos on Divine Rose 1, Divine Rose 2, even Golden Opulence, I'll link those at the end. You know that I just blown away by those palettes, and I've just never been blown away by Natasha Denona's big palettes. The one non-mini I have from her is the Sunrise palette, and here's what that palette looks like. And I'm thinking this carnelian shade might be pretty close to that mustard, that matte mustard shade. Not exactly, but pretty close. Likewise, Jasper here. This is a good rust color and a matte. And so while I don't see a matte in this rust shade in the bronze palette, I do see it in a metallic. And also from Sunrise here, Day Spring. Yeah, look at that. Okay, so that also feels like it fits in with the mode of this bronze palette. And looking, there's right in the middle, Azalea. Yep, look at that, kind of a bronzy with a little bit of red in it. And there is one sort of purpley brown, kind of dapple gray shade in this palette. And Sunrise has Aster. So that might be a little more purple than what's in the bronze palette. But gosh, I'm feeling like, and then, sorry, I should finish a thought. I'm feeling like this is pretty close. Even when I look at things like Laurel, that is a lighter but very shimmery shade. So I'm seeing a lot of, not dupes, but certainly siblings to those colors. And I mean, I could just keep going because there's a deep red in the bronze palette, and here this is Poppy out of Sunrise. So I could certainly scratch the itch of the bronze palette with the Sunrise palette. But the Sunrise palette doesn't have really the rich coppers and deep rusts that was drawing me to that. And the palette that came to mind first for that was Buxom, Boss Babe Betty. and take a look at this palette here. So this has, I mean, just all of these shimmers. Let me just, I mean, there, look at those, right? Those definitely feel a lot in the same vein as the Natasha Denona Bronze palette. And there's a very good matte here that looks like a good mid-toned matte, like is in the Natasha Denona, and not really an orange. I know when Mel was reviewing the Natasha Denona palette, she talked about she really liked the darkest shade. It's kind of a brown black, and I feel like Unapologetic here would be a really good dupe for that. It's so deep. So if you own this palette, and I've done a video on this palette too, maybe I'll link that down below. Yeah, there's some good golds in here. Anyway, so if you're kind of lusting after the Natasha Denona Bronze palette, the Boss Babe Betty Buxom might be a good one for you to pick up at a lesser price. I'm curious, so I own so many minis, but these are all minis. So let's just look through the minis and see what we've got there. So this is the Mini Gold palette, and yes, it's got a really lush gold tone in it. It's got a kind of a green base, but you know, it's close to the gold that's in the Bronze palette. Oh, all right, so a much loved the Mini Sunset palette. This, of course, has cranberry and a deeper gold, kind of an orangey gold. So I definitely put those in the same vein as the Bronze palette. Here is the Mini Nude palette, and those two shades definitely look like they would fit right in with the Bronze palette. So I certainly am finding a lot of colors, or a lot of shades here that would work, scratch that itch for this Bronze palette. Here is her Camel palette, and this, the shimmer in this one, along with all of these mattes, I feel like would just fit right in with that, with the new Bronze palette. But let's take a look at some of the other palettes that I've got that I think might do it. This is a palette I haven't even used yet. It's kind of embarrassing to admit. This is Night Owl by ColourPop. And oh, yeah, look at that. Those definitely look like shades that would be in here. In fact, this Bird Brain, ooh, gosh, that is soft. Holy cow. I think I need to get that palette out and use it. That's the Bird Brain. Look at that beautiful shimmer on that. And then Milk and Tweet Tweet. So Milk is here and Tweet Tweet is here. So, and then let's just also get Two Birds. Yeah, that's a nice kind of mustardy gold. So definitely Night Owl by ColourPop will scratch the itch. And another one from ColourPop I'm curious about is the California Love palette. Yeah, look at that. That's the same color story there. We've got Sequoia, which is that deep mustard, Gold Rush, a deep rust, lots of metallic warm colors. So California Love by ColourPop definitely will scratch the itch. What else should we look at? I mean, I'm showing you a bunch, but, oh, you know, one of the things that Mel mentioned when she was talking about this was the Anastasia Beverly Hills Soft Glam palette. And yeah, there are colors in here. This, I think, reads a little more cool to me. So if you prefer cool tones, and that palette, the bronze palette, looks a little too warm for you, then this might be a good option. Oh, the Cypress Umber, that looks like a really nice dark kind of brown black. And there are some of the other colors out of the Soft Glam palette. All right, here's one from last Christmas, Too Faced's Hot Buttered Rum. Some of you may have that. Yep, look at that, same color story. The deep mustard, the dark brown, and some beautiful shimmers in warm coppers, deep rusts. So that would be another good one if you own that one. I have some singles that I must have gotten in subscription boxes because I don't usually ever buy singles. Here's one from Tarte. This shade is Clueless, and I feel like that would fit in with this palette. Here's one from Wander Beauty in Bouquet. All right, that's a nice gold. That one. I think that would fit in. And last but not least, there's something here from a company called Estate in a shade called Smash. And that's, yeah, that's a deep red, rusted red sort of shade. So lots of, if not dupes, and I can't do dupes because I'm not going to buy the bronze palette, I certainly have found plenty of colors that I can create looks that will give me the same kind of look as the Natasha Denona palette. So I like that I saved myself $65 and could, at least on that front, stick to my no-buy year for palettes because clearly I don't need any more. Thanks so much for joining me. Hit the subscribe button, ring the bell, and I'll see you next time.